How is the audio doing today? How is the audio doing? Okay, sounds good. I see a couple in chat already. Ed, how's it going? Fallen Preacher. I've had some mixed results so far, and I'll go over those here in a few. Vladimir Nimitz. What is the unlock for the SU-27 hangars? I don't think we have any fighters that are that outdated in the game, unfortunately. Ryder, how's it going? And this snow popping up again this week was not fun. It's still too cold here. Turned the heat off yesterday, and then I woke up and apparently it got down to like 50 something in here overnight. Not fun. Dark Ghost, how's it going? Yeah, they swapped out the modem. So that seems to have resolved the issue. Okay. So for today, up in game here. I do still have the YouTube overlay that I set up last week up, so it'll pop up for notifications, but it won't have the chat on screen. So for that, the VOD should have that up after it's had time to process. And my glasses are a bit messed up, so I'm using a different pair. I'm just gonna have the lights off, webcam off today. Mixed results with the special weapon right now on the Texas class. Yeah, my results so far with it were sort of iffy. The issue is, Fallen Preacher, I have a really good modem sitting in my closet right now. It's a Motorola or Surfboard, what's it, SB8200. So that's like the best one that my ISP recommends if you're going out to get your own. However, it stopped working randomly about a year or so back after they pushed out some firmware to it. So I've already went down that route, and I could go out and pick another one up, but fiber is going to be arriving very soon for me. I can look out my window and I can see fiber lines laying on the ground because the install crews are working in this area. So I will probably be swapping off of Mediacom over to one of the fiber providers as soon as they are available here. The trade is not worth it. I'll tell you that right now. The Texas trade isn't good enough. Tell you what, I'm going to turn the webcam on. More interactive if I turn the camera on. How much will fiber cost me? I think it's like 80 bucks. But the thing is, here in West Des Moines, we have a lot of competition with regards to the fiber plans. So we're going to have like some of the local companies that have been doing fiber nearby, like My Fiber. I can't remember who else, but we also have some larger corporations coming in and trying to get in on the fiber lines that the city is placing. So there's going to be Google Fiber here, and that'll be an option, and will bring the prices down quite dramatically, hopefully. Voyager, how's it going? Chell? I know, Chell, I need to do something about the pen topic. Yeah, well, right now I've been stuck with Mediacom, and I think the thing that annoys me the most about them is the data caps. Like, I don't need to have a 1 gig plan, but I need this plan because of the data. Because I consume enough content online, everyone else in the household combined consumes enough content online that if I don't have the plan that I have now, then I have to pay quite a bit for going over the data cap. So it just ends up being cheaper to go with the 1 gig plan. Baltic, how's it going? Yeah, let's go to ground. Yeah, and I just woke up, guys, so still waking up a little bit. I've had about half a cup of coffee, but it's not enough. Okay, so I did open the Texas the other day. I haven't set it up though or anything like that yet. I have to find what I named it. It was on. Yeah, I remember that. Jerron, how's it going? Yeah. Yeah, I've got data caps, unfortunately. It really sucks. Lazarus? I will say too, one thing I'm probably gonna do. I know the Dillax has come down a little bit, but I want to have Zen on hand for whenever that next legendary ship comes out. So I am probably gonna buy some of my Zen back, buy like $100 worth back, because I want to have enough Zen on hand for whenever that next legendary comes out. Okay, let's see. What customization options does the Texas have? Template here is just the Texas. There's no unique interior. No new windows. Material is using the Nova material. And there's like no customization when it comes to messing around with any of the pieces here. So you can change the colors on it, but you can't change the actual shape of it. I don't recall seeing the California material in here before. Is that might just be like a newer lower decks thing that they're doing because this is a lower deck ship? I don't know. Yeah, gambling can be rough. That's for sure. Some of the Vanity shields make it look sharper. This NX one I'm not really into. I showed this one off on Discord the other day, but I don't like how these lines look at the top of the ship here. Next refit thing, but lighter. Sovereign doesn't look bad. I don't like the nacelles, but I like how the rest of it looks under the Sovereign, just not the nacelles. The nacelles I really don't like. I'm going through these a bit fast. Most of these don't really look that good. Once we get up around Type 7, that's where we start to get into the more modern materials. Those nacelles are really muted with this 7A. Yeah, I don't know which one I like the most on here. I wish we could have different materials on the nacelles. That'd be an interesting path for them to go. Makes downloading Linux ISOs easier. Yeah, I just on the topic of that, I just got a 14 terabyte hard drive a week or two back. A recertified one. The prices for the recertified hard drives are crazy. Like, I was looking at the data hoarder subreddit, and this place server part deals. They go in and they sell refurbished hard drives, but like 14 terabytes, $135. So I end up getting one of these recertified Seagate Exos drives. It's up in my NAS, working perfectly fine right now, or all of the Linux ISOs. The website is server part deals. They're legit. I've got the hard drive sitting in a computer behind me. Do I still kick people from McStud's fleet for inactivity? I can. I just haven't done that. I also haven't sent DPS channel invites in a while, and that is something I desperately need to do. Let's leave the ship and stock appearance for now. Okay. Let's go up to space and take a look at the ship here. Ranger, how's it going, man? I don't think I have the bowel one on this character. I should, with this event, go out and pick some of these up. I think it was the Kelvin Divergence that looked really good on the KDF side, wasn't it? I gotta look at my video. Shield. I think it was the Kelvin Divergence on KDF that I thought looked good. Oh no, that's not it. I thought there's one that was on the KDF side that looked really cool. I could be mistaken though. Section 31 and Bowl. Kelvin. So yeah, the Kelvin looks different depending on the faction you're on. Kelvin on the Fed side looks rough, but on the KDF side, I think, yeah, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, I don't like the green, but for some people, that's probably good. Kelvin. Let's just buy it and see how it goes. I don't have any of these lithium Vanity shields yet, and may as well take advantage while they're in the store. So let's see what that looks like here. This is, keep in mind, this is on the KDF side. If you buy this Calvin shield on the Fed character, it looks different. No, I don't like how that looks. I like what it does to the nacelles. Like, I like that pattern there, but I don't like the green. It looks, yeah. Am I watching Picard? Yeah. Yeah, and Triz is watching all of Picard off of my Plex, so he's watching it about the same time I am. Ship looks like a half-finished model. No, the Starship trade is absolutely not worth it. Keep in mind, with how much power creep is in the game, with how many of our builds sit around like 90 to 100% crit chance nowadays, when you have your crit chance that high, your crit severity is basically cat 2. So the way that I'm looking at this trait is, this is basically, for me, this trait is basically equivalent to 30% crit D. Would you slot a trait that gives you 30% crit severity? Promise of Ferocity is... this trait will still do good. It's just that, like Promise of Ferocity, that's a good budget trait. And once you have access to get ships like the Texas, you should have many of those more premium traits that make this not so good. I am going to hover over the tooltips for the console and experimental weapon for you guys quick. Scar, how's it going? Exactly. This trait would be good if it was a budget trait in the C store, but we're going to take a look at that here shortly, Ryan. So that is the experimental weapon. It's basically just one shot of the console. And the console here is the VAQ Warhead Multiple Launch System. So this has really decent passives on it, to be honest. This gives you 31.2% Cat 1 for kinetic and beam damage. Then 16.3% hull capacity, so that's going to boost Tyler's duality and get you more crit chance from that rep trait. And then the clicky on this fires off those warheads. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slot some consoles and see if I can boost that up. Slinus, how's it going? Let me find that here on this so we can see if the damage goes up. Each of the charges has their own damage listed here. Probably helps with the server performance, I can imagine, having all that there. So these deal kinetic damage. Let's see, are they boosted by Torp consoles? The number on them right now is 18946.3 for the top line. So let's see, does a Torp console boost them? A plus torpedo console does not boost them. Do I have any quantums on this character? Oh, I've actually got some, okay. Plus quantum does not boost them. Steven, how's it going? Phoenix girl? Scar? Is anyone else here in chat? Okay. So the console's not boosted. Now let's take a look at the experimental weapon. So its number is 2405. Let's see. No. It's not being boosted by the quantum console either, and probably not by the Torp console also. So let's check that. Nope. Richard, how's it going? Ed, I am not on Tribble. Fun fact, this ship is on Tribble. But the console and all that over on Tribble is old. Like it is a copy paste partially of the Eagle console. In fact, let me pull that up because I think it's just really funny to see. I have not flown the ship yet. Like I've only messed with the trait or not the trait, the console and experimental weapon. The Starship trait, I do not think it's that good. Voyager, that is the random name that it was assigned. Scottbot, how's it going? Yeah. The box over on Tribble cannot be opened. And I just showed you guys the passives here, where it's got plus 31.2 kinetic and beam damage, plus 16.3 hull capacity. In fact, let me take a picture of that so we can compare this side by side. Once Tribble loads. Okay. So you can see they've got the blank icons for the experimental weapon and console over here because it's an earlier version. And Universal Console here, over on Tribble, you can see that it is different than the version that we got on live. On Tribble, this has a copy paste for the passives of the Eagle console. Ranger, how's it going? So I could test this version of the console over on Tribble, but you know, who knows if there's been some other changes under the hood for the rest of the console. The passives are clearly different, so I don't want to go and test it on Tribble right now when it may very well end up changing. Voyager, there are none to post. I'm apparently at the very bottom of the map. For the right price, I do, Ranger. And by right price, I mean above whatever the current cheapest offer is on the exchange. I do have one posted right now. Jimmy, how's it going? Okay. So I think that given how this ship is set up with its console, it's set up to boost torpedoes and beams. Well, you can't set this ship up as a torp boat. It just doesn't have the bridge officer set up to really support that. So that leads in towards a hybrid beam torp setup, or pretty much just your standard beam setup with a torp on it. You had to say it, Ranger. The other thing I'll tell you is that it's really hard to test both the experimental weapon and the console at the same time because they show up on the parse as like the same thing, if I recall. ERL could do that. Let's see. Oh, I've got a set of where's my Terran phaser at? It's right in front of me. I have a set of pen beams on this character. Shall you here? Don't want you seeing this. But this is on live. The ship is not. The ship is on Tribble, but it's not correct. I lithium. Go. Axel, how's it going? Okay. Alan, I'm not mad at you, man. I just woke up right before I turned my stream on. Yeah, this is on live. You can like find me a new Romulus. I promise you this is on live. The ship, if you try to open it on Tribble, it doesn't work. It's noon. I woke up at like 11:30. I kept hitting snooze on my phone. Yeah, I couldn't do ERL. You can use the Disco two-piece to counter it, but the Nova next to me. I see some resemblance a little bit. I get why they gave this ship the skin from that ship. Yeah. Get some phaser consoles on here. Thankfully, I accidentally bought too many phaser consoles one day. So I've got like 9 phaser exploiters on this character. Okay, torpedo wise, I already know how you guys all are. You want the disco torp. Need the trilithium console. There it is. I know it's terrible. Let's put another Omni on just to make my life a little bit easier. This Omni does have over. Now a bunch of people have been asking in the comments of that video how the over proc does. The over modifier on weapons actually sort of sucks. That's why I didn't test it, but I will make sure to include it in the next video that I do going over the different energy types so that people can see that the over modifier is complete garbage. Okay, let's do experimental power redirection. Get the lance on there. So I'm testing all these clicky consoles here, so let's see. What do I want for the last one? If I'm going ERL, that's single target, so I'm not going to do haste boost because things will die too fast. Let's get DPRM on just for survivability. Over is overhyped. I don't know, Chell. Like it's I know there's things that I need to talk about video wise, but I just have not I've not had much motivation. Every time I try to do like actual like runs in STO, the server performance is just absolute garbage recently, and it makes it extremely demotivating to want to do some things with the game. To be perfectly honest with you, the KCB as the third Omni would work. I just don't have room for the assimilated console here because I'm gonna need the survivability. I want to have the Excelsior 2 clicky on. I'm gonna be trying the VAQ versus the emulating phaser lance, so I want to have those two side by side. So there's some compromises going on here. I've already got the Trilithium Omni on. Oh, turret. That is a really... Well, I've got the torpedo on. But I can go with the turret. That is a fair point. More chances to proc that. And I mean, if I'm going to be running ERL, it's going to be... I mean, I could also do an advanced inhibiting... I want to spin in circles, Shell. That's why I've got it like this. So I don't have to think about flying and I could just spin in circles. Show just how much of a casual I am. Okay. Trait-wise, I do not need all this torpedo crap. Don't need Withering Barrage. Ruin's not going to do much here. Carrying Goodbye can still maintain uptime. One thing I've been hearing from the PvP players recently is one of the big things that they're having issues with lag-wise is feel the weight of our presence, which not surprising. So I'd probably say to stop running that trait for the time being if you do have it on. Calm Before the Storm works. Last trait here. What am I missing? Keep in mind I'm going exceed rated limits, so that does limit some of these options. I guess supercharged weapons if I'm doing a torp spread. Or try hard heart. Terrible chill. Time to see which of these abilities I don't have. I don't have exceed rated limits 3 apparently. That's unfortunate. If I wanted to do maximum damage, then yes, Cannon Scatter Volley 3 would of course be the best way to go. But I want to lean into the console on the ship buffing beams and torpedoes, so that's what we're going to do for this build, and then we can all suffer through this together. Yeah, theme builds, I think a lot of people don't realize that theme builds right now can actually do really well. Like there is plenty of room for a theme build to do really good performance-wise in the current state of the game. Suffer in a good way? Yeah. And that's generally the issue, isn't it, Chell? Is people don't put enough thought into some of the builds they're putting together. They think because it's off meta that they can't make it good, but that is not true. Pretty much anything can do well if you put the time into it, like you said. We're gonna go with PO just for redundancy. So I don't have to worry about cooldowns. And I'll do a Gravwell 1. Okay. Aston Beam, so thematic. I know, that's your favorite, right? Your favorite, Chell? I want to put... I need to grab a Torp Spread 3, so I'm going to have to beam to ground. Yeah, Wingman would have been really good on this. Who am I and what have I done with Spencer? I know. I mean, keep in mind, I've got an Excelsior build doing surgical strikes. It's just... Like, I have flown single target builds plenty in the past. It's just that the content isn't designed for them. And if you go in with a single target build, you have to understand that you are making things harder for your team. That's the one thing you just got to keep in mind whenever you're doing single target. Like I've done plenty of like channel infected runs where you have too many people doing single target stuff, and it just you end up with such a mess everywhere on the map. So, like in single player content, if you want to run beam overload or any single target stuff, you do it. Like, oh, who you're the only one that's being impacted by it, go for it. But in a team environment, the game just isn't designed for it. Make this a Torp Spread 3, and this here. John, thanks for stopping by. Have I caused you physical pain there? Voyager? Okay. So I'm going to do MAS 1, narrow sensor bands 2, and then I'm going to have exceed rated limits. We'll do distributed targeting here, and then I'll grab an attack pattern beta. The only attack pattern you should pretty much be using. Beta debuffs everything you shoot. Delta debuffs only things that shoot you. Omega gives you a damage boost that is going to be less impactful than Beta. Sorry to be hurting your immersion there, Voyager. I need to craft more of these energy amplifiers quick. Yeah, the other thing too is when you do compare, like, Surgical Strikes 3 is better than Beam Overload, I would say. And the having that on account-wide unlock for the extension trait, that helps massively, because Beam Overload is still just a Lobby ship for its extension trait, so that's a bit rough. Fire at Will, yeah, Fire at Will can work, but it's... The issue with Fire at Will and recommending it for general use right now is that there is some difficulty in just spam barring it. That's what makes Fire at Will hard to recommend. You can't spam bar like it easily, I should say. You can't get high uptime without manually timing a torp spread with ETM. But you can get Delta Prime without having Delta on your build. Delta only generates more threat when you have the DOF slotted for it to explicitly generate more threat. I'm somewhere in space, Voyager. I'm just going through setting up the tray. You guys know how fun this all is. Send coordinates. Oh no, I'm a bit scared by that line of inquiry right there. You want my coordinates. Dude, top DPSers use auto hotkey? No. Auto hotkey would probably lower your DPS at that level, because you need to be manually timing certain things for when you see specific things happen in a run. So if they used auto hotkey, that would lower their performance. Auto hotkey would work more at like a more casual level, I would say. But at that higher performance tier, it would probably be a loss. Look up my video on the manual firing for torp boats, and you can see there that like you have to be able to fire or like see what's happening in front of you and then select the right torp to fire. You're not going to set that up with a script. Yeah, but 300k isn't high DPS anymore. Like, I'm not trying to like be the elitist about it, but in the grand scheme of things, you know, we're at a point in the game where people are doing millions of DPS. I mean, the infected advanced record's 11 million. Like, you can do good with auto hotkey spamming spacebar for you, but if you really want to go and actually get into that record type environment, you need to have a lot more manual control over what you're doing. You have to be able to react live, and a script that is just spamming your spacebar isn't going to do that for you. Yeah. Yeah, Sebastian, Vanguard Specialist, is very much worth getting for a variety of builds. Yeah, so the HSE record's 2.35 mil. The ISE record right now is 2.44 mil. And the ISA record is Let's see. Oh, it's taking its time to load. 11 million. Yeah, but it's the thing with HSC is it's time dependent. You need to, the thing with any of it is you need to be able to react live. And if you just have something spamming spacebar and doing all of your abilities at fixed times for you, then that could screw you over. Yeah, but Chell, you know how that is. Like, and if you look at like a Thaleron run in Elite, you know, that you have to get into position and then you have to be timing those abilities out for when your team is at certain points in the run. So if your team isn't there and you have auto hotkey running and it just starts spamming away, well, you've just sort of screwed yourself over. I have a couple other traits that I need to drop here. Let's keep torpedo pre-fire sequence on. Does that boost the experimental weapon? Oh, anchored's giving me some stacks here. Hold on. Okay, so my experimental weapon is 29083. Now, torpedo pre-fire sequence isn't boosting the the damage at least on that. So let's keep that on for the. Let's fully take that off. See how slow the torps are naturally. For my stats on this ship, I have 53% crit chance and 277% severity going in. But when we look at the combat log here in a little bit, it probably the crit chance should be higher. Okay. Let's do a patrol now and see how terrible this setup is. SROs, if you're on a Romulan character, um if you are on a pure Romulan character, it's really stupid to not go with watch or with SROs right now. Because SROs give you more than 2% crit chance right now. They give you a lot more. I'm going to drop Inspirational Leader for Symbiotic Ice, which does really good if you're using beam weapons. Okay, let me save this loadout to both slots. And make sure everything's on the tray. Go. Wanted Elite. There's them torpedoes. A bit slow there. So that torpedo pre-fire sequence trait definitely was having an impact on them.
You have entered looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their boss might come out of hiding.
This is really slow.
Keep concentrating fire on individual ships. Separate them and whittle down their numbers. We will not go quietly. You will stand down and surrender to
Those torpedoes are also really slow.
Possibly consistent with multiple temporary hideouts. We do what we want, where we want. Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency. We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for assistance. I'm taking you with me.
It's already over 2 minutes, which is sort of terrible, but
Got that. Excellent.
yeah, 2 minutes 40 seconds. That, to be honest, that really sucks.
Suspect into custody.
Um,
Thank you for your assistance. And
oof. Yeah, everything died before the torps could reach. Yeah, that's pretty much what it looked like, wasn't it? So, immolating phaser lance did 10.5k. My pets did 10.4. And of that, my pets were so 8.8k. Let's take a picture of this compared to the phaser lance. For some reason on Windows 11, the snipping tool, after you take a picture, it doesn't stay up front as the focused window. It just disappears into the background. It's a bit annoying. So here's the other issue that really makes this a bit difficult to like say this console versus the immolating phaser lance. Yes, the performance, like the immolating phaser lance did beat it out in this run here. But keep in mind there was some more damage in the non-pets area also. But I also have the experimental weapon on, which is, you know, going to be messing with the numbers of this. So I am going to take the experimental weapon off because it's hard to test the console when the experimental weapon has the exact same name. Also, fun fact, the experimental weapon will randomly fire even if there's no target, and it will keep you in a red alert. But yeah, so a video going over DPS tips for different types of builds. So like in our gala too, probably, right? Like just go through, explain the like where to position and all that for like the different types of builds. I mean, maybe. Yeah, I mean for accurate testing, first the phaser lance, definitely need to do this on Tribble, but Tribble isn't updated. I'm gonna swap the experimental for the Soliton. You know, I'm gonna be working on a video here sometime in the near future where I'm gonna try to get every experimental weapon in the game and do a comparison. You know, sort of like what I did with the phaser stuff. So I'll probably get a bit more data from the experimental weapon when I do that. The experimental weapon might actually be like this over on Tribble right now. You know, I'm going to send my character over to Drozana and maybe I can take a look at that right now. Because the console was messed up, but I don't know if the experimental weapon was. I want... Here we go. Yeah, it probably is a bug. So, one thing I don't think people noticed with the console there is that the charges rebuild every 10 seconds. So, this console, the VAQ Warhead console off of the Texas, is actually able to keep universal designs up 100% of the time. Now, in most or on most DPS builds, we usually use the immolating phaser lance to do that. And the immolating phaser lance can work if you time it right. But this VAQ console is a solution that you could literally just spam bar and never have to worry about. Martin, how's it going, man? Waldo? Martin, I'm sorry to hear about the Argentina stuff. The Argentina prices on Epic are no more. I apparently need to re-sign into Arc. Put display cap off so I don't like leak password again.
Welcome to Josan.
I'm just moving my character over to the Drozana map because when I copy it over, it'll be drastically faster because Drozana is the map that the test server uses. That up. I really don't think like I'll be honest, just looking at the stats, the flying it what I have so far. For a premium ship, it's really hard to recommend. Like it just doesn't feel good. Yeah, so one of the issues right here is you see I just copied my character over to Tribble. The Texas is over here, but it's not visible. So I need to swap to a different ship. And for that, I can just go courier. Yeah, here we go. Now I can still grab the experimental weapon and we can see if it... Let me take it off of my ship here and see what it looks like here versus live. I almost feel like I'd rather have the McKee Raider. Because the McKee Raider at least is going to be a 5-1. Like you can make a 4-3 work like this. It just doesn't feel good. Okay. So there will be a little bit of a difference damage-wise because this one is going to be boosted by my fleet combat buff, but if they're fairly close, then I should be able to test it on Tribble. Oh, they're exactly the same. Okay. Yep, exactly the same, so I can test it out on Tribble. That is good. Okay, let's see how good or bad the experimental weapon is then quick. We'll just go in with the courier here, everyone's favorite starship to make you sick. And we'll do just 2 quick comparisons, volumetric versus like the Soliton. Yeah, I know Stargate. The console of the ship is different over here. It's still got the copy paste of the Eagle stats. Yeah, unfortunately, Cryptic doesn't seem to have much interest in keeping Tribble up to date anymore. So she realized that camera's a little bit high, but unfortunately, given their decision to hate Tribble so much as of late, um, I honestly just think it's a matter of time until they just shut Tribble down. That's pretty much the direction I feel that the test server is going to go, is that they're just going to shut it down. Well, they don't hate it. It's just that they don't use it anymore. It's combat settings, one test dummy, and I'm going to sit exactly 3.5 kilometers behind the test dummy here. As this works. I guess another thing too is I never checked, does the damage off of this experimental weapon, what's it get boosted by? Does it scale with weapon power? Doesn't scale with Ox, so it just doesn't care about power, like a normal tort. Yeah, but it's been a consistent pattern, Stargate, of they're leaving it multiple updates behind. They are, well, because they use Redshirt now as their own test server, so to them, they already have, their own version of Tribble that is already testing all this new stuff. Okay. So let's see how this experimental weapon does. I'll let it fire for a minute. I don't think this is working. It's not splitting apart. Okay, so the version on the test server just is not accurate at all. Okay, so there's no testing to happen on the test server today because that is clearly green, and if I go over to live, it is very much purple and it splits apart. It's supposed to be 3 kilometers. Oh, wait, this is different? Oh, no. I gotta reopen Tribble. So is that different from the console? I thought the console was 3. No, it's supposed to split after 3 kilometers. That's what the top of the tooltip says. Speed boost, increase the distance. Yeah, but I wouldn't have had any. I mean, I'll go back over. I'll try it one more time. And we'll see if it, if I go back like 6 kilometers, does it split apart? But it looks like to me like that is not the same weapon. Yeah, I know. No idea there, Chell. Probably was it the anniversary ship one? Okay, let's go back really far. Yeah, let's go like 6 kilometers. And let me grab the console also real quick. That one, the passes on it over on Tribble are literally a copy and paste of the Eagle console. So let's fire the experimental weapon first. Okay, so it did split apart there. Now, let's try... Let's do that again. It doesn't actually split up, though. Or it looked like like one smaller one appeared there. Let's try the console out here. I mean, it split apart. It actually did split apart. It's just you can't really see it with the Tribble visuals because these visuals are not complete. So you see here, there's 6 different lines for damage right there. Now, if I go really up close, like if I go within 3 kilometers, it doesn't have time to split apart, so it does less damage. Yeah, which is different from how the ones on the live server work. Okay, so we can at least go in and if I sit like 5 kilometers back, I should be able to be far enough away that these can split apart. Let me see if they, yeah, you want me to go back to 9? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, it did split apart a little bit sooner here. Jim, thank you for watching. Glad to help. Okay. Do they still split apart at 5 kilometers on Tribble? Six kilometers? Yeah, on live you see it split apart. Keep in mind, what I'm doing right here is with an earlier build of the experimental weapon. We might be able to see its damage, but the distance that I have to be away from the target is much different from what it was on the live server. No, so it actually does less damage. It loses about half of its damage if it doesn't split apart. Because look at this group of 6 right here. These these 6 hit, they all crit. So that was 24,186 times 6. And when I was too close and it did crit, it only did 76k. So it's still, if you're too close and it can't split apart, the damage is substantially lower. Cyrus, how's it going? Yeah, it seems to go faster on live, but let's at least see if we can get a damage comparison here between it and the um Soliton. I'm gonna let it fire for 60 seconds. I really do not like the Texas itself as a ship, but I do think that the console on it probably has some really good potential for torpedo boats as a UD replacement. Um, Using it on some phaser builds, I've had a few runs so far in the past day where it matched or beat the immolating phaser lance damage wise if I kept a good distance from targets. Should get another 2 shots out of this. So it did 14.7k damage there, or 14.7k DPS. Um, on live, like 3-4 kilometers away from targets. Let me test the Soliton real quick, just to have the 1-to-1 comparison real quick, and then we can go back to live where the correct version of this is live. Yeah, I think the immolating phaser lance is still just generally easier to use for UD. But what this console does allow for is 100% guaranteed uptime on UD because it has a 10-second recharge time. Kithia, how's it going? So it did beat out the Soliton in this 1-to-1, but again, distance plays a huge factor into that. These things move really slow. But definitely, like it, I mean, right there in that test, it beat out the Soliton. Now, if I look at some runs for the console itself, I'm going to close Tribble out here. For the console itself, like I was saying, I've had some runs where it was beating or matching the immolating phaser lance. And like they're close, like 39k to 41k in this run. But positioning plays a huge part of it. The immolating phaser lance, you don't like you can get more damage out of the immolating phaser lance if you wait for targets to be grouped up. You know, that is part of it. But I still feel like it's easier to use than this new console because this new console, the VAQ Warhead, you have to be like at a perfect distance from your target if you want to maximize its damage. The moment you're too close, you lose like half the damage from it. Okay. I need to go in and get my daily done real quick, and let me I still have stuff that I'm gonna do at the ship here, but I want to go get the daily done really quick. So let's do that. I'm gonna go to the Voth Ground Battle Zone and show you guys how difficult it is to get this this daily done. You have to remember to hit accept there. I don't feel like doing either of the Voth TFOs, to be perfectly honest with you. All of these zones in this battle zone are super easy. I could go and flip a teleporter, but I'll do a full area. Yeah, if you can hit one of those, then that's fine. I mean, there's so many different things that are really fast for this that I'm not too worried about it. Like this one, I'll get my daily once this thing up here goes to the other end. And it's stupidly easy. Just gotta hit the like consoles twice while it's progressing. I don't know, Zor. I haven't even looked at that, to be honest. A little bit of lag right there. What is the ground DPS record? Depends on the map. I mean, isn't like NTT like over 40k or something right now? The thing is, when it comes to ground DPS, you have to realize that overkill has a massive impact on the ground DPS records. Um, like people do a lot more damage than the enemies have HP points. Yeah, I'm lagging about on this map. And that be it. There's the daily progress from doing one little zone on the map, and there are some that you can do insanely fast. Now, how many instances are there? 11? I mean, there are still people sitting here just waiting for the dino. I don't know what Cryptic's done there. Let's take a look. Ground DPS records. NTTE has a ground record of 44k. Bug Hunt has a ground record of 25k. Axel, it's just coffee. I woke up like an hour and a half ago, or right before the stream, pretty much. Yeah. Cryptic pushing melee weapons when things die so fast definitely is not great. This ship looks weird in space. The lighting on it. I noticed this yesterday. Like it's got lots of blue coloring, and then it's got the swirls from the disco shield. Yes, Axel. WatchTech, the internet's good. Got a new modem yesterday. Okay. So let's see now. It probably does. Well, I usually drink it fast enough, but when I'm streaming, it probably does get a little bit uh, colder than the ideal. Yeah, I think the engines give too much light. Okay. Let's go in and do some TFOs. Let's start off with a... You want me to do an ISC? I'm single target. It is going to be garbage. I will tell you that right now. If you want me to do actual DPS with this build, I would need to swap it over to CSV. But I can do it. Okay. I'm going to make one set of changes to the build here. Or no, I'll leave this as it. Okay. You guys have asked for it. You want to see what single target looks like. Does anyone have a tank? The ship. Lusa, thank you for the $2 there. More coffee. Very much appreciated. Give the people what they want, yeah. Can tank. Voyager, you go in with whatever you want. The console for the Texas is the VAQ multiple warhead launcher console. This gives passes for kinetic and beam damage, hull capacity, and then the clicky on it is that it fires off these quantum warheads that will then split apart and do a lot of damage to the target. We have room for one more. Did I miss anyone in chat? If you want to see the size of the ship in person, I am above New Romulus. New Romulus #1 specifically. Okay. Graham, I got you, bud. I don't have the experimental on right now because on the parser it shows up as the same thing as the console. So if I'm wanting to see the performance of one or the other, I need to take one or the other off because the experimental weapon is literally just one shot of the console. Doorway is bigger than it. Yeah, it is a small ship. Cyrus, we just filled with 5, but I imagine I'll be doing a few TFOs. Okay, is everyone here good to go? Grim, you're on cooldown. Yeah, we have 2 tanks. Bug ship bigger than it? I don't know. Someone bring a bug ship over to New Rom. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to carry the run there, Voyager. Ricarius, are you ready? Okay. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. Remember to carry me, because my damage gonna be low.
The situation is great.
Another thing, I can apparently hit this from start. I wonder if it would actually go to the target. Welcome back, Chell.
Your defensive capabilities are unable to withstand us. Lower your shields and await assimilation.
Scanning the nanite transmission.
Oh, I hit them way too close. They ain't doing any damage there. Oh, that was a slow start. Right now, I'm wishing I was on, like, fire at will. Oh, no, no. I'm dead. Short, how's it going? Single target. This is fun. This is what happens when you have single target and no AoE. Ranger, you already left? Terrible. I think the worst part about this to me is the fact of how messy single target builds are and the fact that people enjoy them. I think that's the worst part about this. That was rough. Amazon is the random name that this ship got when I picked it up.
Confirm that the transwarp
No, we finished it.
However, our scans of the starbase are still being disrupted.
We finished it. Okay. Yeah, I think we all died there. Is what it is. Damage-wise. Immolating Phaser Lance, 39.3k. The pets here, so that console, did 22k. Now keep in mind, I completely messed it up and was way too close when I hit it at the start, which means that it did significantly less damage than it could have. Have we got a tank? Like Intel builds. Vito, how's it going? Chiaps. That's the truth, isn't it? Gotbot, thanks for stopping by. There's many different ways to go with political names, but I've already done that in the past. You guys probably remember some of that content on my channel from many years ago, and I am definitely done dealing with any of the political names though on like ships or characters moving forward. That ended up causing too much of a headache long term. Okay. So that was exceed rated limits, 490k. That made me hate everything. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to actually put a DPS build on this now, because we've seen what it's like with the with exceed rated limits, and that is enough punishment for me today. So let's swap to a DPS build. Pretty much, Ranger. Pretty much. You want me to do HSE? Welcome back, Alan. John, if they had content where single target builds were viable, if the content was designed for it, that'd be different. But all good, Biggie. Oh yeah, I did say to people to go near the ship to see the size comparison. Let me go back towards the let's meet up by the transwarp gate if you want to see the size of ships. Stuka, how's it going? So yeah, it's a small ship. It's smaller than some of the pilot escorts. Do I like it? No. So for the ship itself, I wouldn't go out and pick this ship up for the ship itself. I think the ship by itself sucks, to be honest with you. This is a lockbox ship, and at that price point, you could go pick up better ships in the C store. The Hydra that just came out is easily gonna just be a much better platform than this Texas is. Really, the point with the Texas here is, does the console and experimental weapon interest you? And for Torp users, I think that the console could be quite interesting, but the damage it does versus the immolating phaser lance is extremely dependent on how far away from the target you are. And if you are too close to the target throughout a run when you activate it, it will do a fraction of the damage that it could do. Terrible Dark Eddy. It's all just practice. Yeah, it's literally like there's a C-store ship that is literally this ship. Exactly. So let me pull that up. Okay. Let me compare this to the Texas now. Okay. On the left, we have the Da Vinci Miracle Worker Escort, which is a C-store ship that you can get for $30. On the right is the Texas Miracle Worker Escort, which you can get for a single character for like 1.3 billion EC. They're both 4-3 layouts. The Texas does have a little bit more hull capacity. Turn rate on the Texas, slightly better. The power settings on the Texas, slightly better, but who cares about that? When it comes to the bridge officers, the Saber or the Da Vinci here, which is the fleet version of it, gets a commander tack with the Miracle Worker, just like the Texas. The difference is that the Texas gets a second Miracle Worker seat on its Lieutenant Commander Engineer. The Da Vinci doesn't get a Lieutenant Commander Science. Instead, it gets another Lieutenant Commander tack, which is probably better for most of you anyways. Like, these ships are so comparable. It's just so extremely comparable. Or no, it's the Saber's the fleet version. Okay. Yeah, at that point, the whole the survivability gets a little bit better there on the Saber, doesn't it? We are getting a T6 patrol escort in like a month or two. Yeah, that's already confirmed. That's coming out in the next C-store bundle. Like, next C-store ship bundle is going to have a patrol escort in it. So yeah, the point is, this Fleet Saber will get you like 99% of the way there towards what the Texas is, except you can get it unlocked account wide. If that's the type of ship you're looking for, if you're looking for a 4-3 Miracle Worker Escort. If you're looking at the lockbox side of things, unless you really want the console for a torp boat, the Texas just doesn't have much value. Like, the trait sucks. Okay, you want to try an HSC? Let's get an HSC form together. I'll stick with the ERL for this HSC, and we'll just see how it goes. I'll even put the experimental weapon back on. When do I think the Titan A from Picard is going to come out? Probably summer or fall. One more attack console. Yeah. Indeed. It just really isn't that good of a ship. Like, for a lockbox ship... Alan, you want in? We need a... Do we have anyone that can tank this HSC? Okay, we'll just go into this. Alan, got you in here as soon as you're in the game. We'll go with this as is. Yeah. You're tanking? Okay. Ranger, I'm sorry. I'll get you in on the next one, Ranger. Okay, Alan, let's get you in here. I just, if you have $100 you're putting into the game, I just don't think this is like I said in the initial breakdown of this. I don't think this would be worth $30 in the C store. Like, to be honest with you, let alone as a lockbox ship. It really, the ship itself is really not satisfying. It's all about the console and experimental weapon. And the trait, again, up to 30% Cat 2 for energy weapons. That's on a modern, high-end build. That's basically like a starship trait saying it gives you 30% crit severity, right? Like, that's cool, but I'm not gonna necessarily slot it. Yeah, we're doing an elite. Okay. Hive Onslaught Elite, here we go. Oh, we do have a fleet here. Look at all them Valkyrie fighters. Yeah, Jim, we'll get you. There's a lot of people in here. I'm sorry, I missed a few people in chat. I'm sorry. So we'll continue to do some more TFOs after this, and I'll swap over to this I'll just keep the URL going for you guys. ERL would be better if I was playing an engineer. Would I rather have this or the courier? At least with the courier, it would feel like the ship is unique. To be perfectly honest. And Picard season 3 is really good, to be honest. Like, I was talking to Triz about this a few nights back, and it's like, why couldn't we have just had 3 seasons of this? Like, season 3 of Picard has been the best of the new Trek stuff for me so far. I mean, Strange New Worlds was good. But Voyager Karen is tanking. Exactly. At least I'll feel something with the courier, right? Oh, it took things off my tray. Why did it scramble my tray like this? This game. I didn't even notice it scrambled my tray. I hate this game. Yeah, like you guys saw, all I did is I loaded the loadout and it scrambled my tray. Single target is pain. It's minute. What was that? Minute 20. Okay. Was that a record for anyone? Nope. Alan, I had you at 418. Did you at 418? Yeah, your recursive did really well here. That's exactly like this. That's where that World Razor really comes into play as being just a really hard hitting ship, is when you're in content where you can mark things like recursive on the target and they stay alive long enough to get the damage from it. That recursive, Alan, for you in that run did like almost, what is that? About 69k there, so like a seventh of your damage or something like that, sixth, something like that. Yeah, about a sixth of your damage. Yeah, I can do math. So Admiral X, I like that. Server performance is not really changed. It's still not good, man. Okay. Immolating Phaser Lance. How did that do in this run? I'm gonna reload my loadout again, see if it fixed. The something Cryptic did recently, the TFO groups automatically disband. Hold on, I gotta fix my trade because Cryptic decided it needed to be scrambled. Such a pain. Digital compilation field? Did it? Yeah, I see 12.6k for me. Yeah, so the the Starship trade off of the compiler, apparently other people, so if one person in your team is running it and you get a kill on a target that they like get procced against or whatever, it apparently will give you the damage, which is interesting. So how much did the rest of the team get here? You had, how much did you have from it? Blind. Yeah, you could probably put it on like a Fawn Annie. You have like with these EPG builds, there's so much crap on here. You had 29k. Oh, is it under? Okay, it's somewhere in there. It's always such a mess trying to find that on the thing. Alan had 6.5k from it. Voltic. See it there for you. Point is, other people are getting damage off of one person in the team having it slotted. So yeah, Fawn Annie with that could be something in the future. There's a fleet following me. Yeah, I've really been quite happy with season 3 of Picard for sure. I foresee that that's going to be a lot of the promo ships and lockbox ships that we're getting in the later part of this year. Yeah, Omega, I don't think this ship has any PvP relevance, to be honest with you. Yeah, Voyager, it's absolutely frustrating. The poor server performance is rough. And the Intrepid or whatever from the last episode, I could see them putting that in. I don't have access to DPS Diamond Shell. You see, there was a split within the DPS groups many, many years ago, and I was briefly invited to that channel, and then before I didn't accept it, but they uninvited me a couple days later. Remember, I was very unhappy with how things went back then and expressed my disapproval of their actions publicly. I knew it was going to be something about Pen. I knew it. I knew you were going to say something with that. Baku DOF packs are so expensive, man. All these all the DOF packs are just really pricey right now. Do you have any Borgs I can rip open? Imagine that I opened like 200 lockboxes yesterday and I didn't get a single Borg DOF pack. Terrible, Chell. So, I'll probably do a video on the Texas here in the next couple of days. It's not that it's like a bad ship. It can still do perfectly fine. It's just that for what it is, I just don't think it's the ship itself sucks, okay? At least when you bought the Deimos for the Immolating Phaser Lance, the Deimos itself was actually a fun ship to fly. This thing, I mean, it can do, you can set it up fine. Like, it can do some energy weapon builds, but it is so unsatisfying to play because it's just got nothing going for it. I opened Infinity. So, I will tell you guys right now, I am going to probably lean towards the direction of doing. I know I asked about this for feedback in a previous stream, but I went against what you guys said, and rather than doing lockbox ships for most giveaways moving forward, it'll probably be T6 coupons, and I'll probably be waiting until they release some newer C store ships. T6 coupons are a fraction the price of a lockbox ship, and basically the choice I'm looking at is I can give one lockbox ship away to one person, or I can give 3 different people T6 coupons for the exact same cost. And I would rather more people get something, especially a C-store ship, right? A C-store ship is really impactful. It's an account-wide unlock, can get you a really good trait, maybe a really good platform. Thank you. Thank you, Ryder. But I just think T6 coupons are better in that regard. Do I have an Eagle video yet? No. I've done a little bit with it on stream, but there was definitely a combination of things that hit me throughout February that impacted me getting videos done. There was a combination of burnout, the game, or like my connection to the game being absolutely terrible, and just that all like combined together to really lead to a period of low motivation. Martin, you're fine, man. I'm sorry that that has happened for you because I know that's going to impact you personally. So that's the part that really sucks there. I appreciate what you were doing there at the giveaways, but that just it sucks in general for you. So for reference, the price of Zen in Argentina is no longer what it had been. It's no longer as cheap as it was before. That's like 3 times the price now. Yeah. I don't really want to gamble right now. key prices have come down a little bit. What are ships at? I need a Zal for this character. So there is a Lobby sale going on right now. If you guys missed that, 20% Lobby sale. Of course, there's the Vanity Shield sale also going on. Yeah, the thing is too, a lot of the recent releases, like C-Store wise, I don't think people realize that like every ship in the 13th anniversary bundle is lockbox and promo tier. Like the stats on C-Store ships in part of bundles has gotten to a point where a lot of these, especially these anniversary bundle ones, literally have stats that are competitive with what a lockbox or promo ship would be offering. Like it's the power creep there has been crazy. Like the Hydra, the Hydra is like better than a lot of the lockbox ships we have in the game. Like it's one of the best destroyers in general in the game, and you can go and get it for $30 in the C-Store. Here's a spoiler on some content. The Hydra, I will tell you, I think is probably one of the single best C-Store ships to purchase. Now that it's, you know, now that it's out, now that we know what it's like, it's an amazing ship. The last year has seen a lot of really good C-Store ships. So for me, like the lockbox ships are cool, you know, and I like to try and keep one T6 box on me at all times for if I ever need something, but I would rather at this point just get coupons. Right now, I've even like went against that idea of keeping a box on me. I just sold off my last T6 box because I want to get more coupons. I can sell a lockbox ship and get enough EC to go out and get 3 coupons. So yeah, they changed the regional pricing. So Martin's Zen package went from 41.49 up to 140. It's crazy. Yeah, the Iktomi has a really good trait. Yes, there will be a review on the Hydra. I'll probably I probably am going to try. I'll try to get a review done for the Texas maybe in the next couple days, or I can just go over to the Hydra. Like, to be honest, the Texas is so underwhelming that I don't even like know if it's worthy of a review. Like it really boils down to whether or not you want to pay 1.3 billion for the console and experimental weapon. Like that's really what the Texas comes down to. The Starship trait. So the Starship trait gives you 10% Cat 2 damage for energy weapons when it's slotted. And if you are between 2 and 7 kilometers away from your target, then you will get an additional 20%, making it a 30% damage boost. It's really not worth it. Alan, I will go through and I'll pick them up from people selling them in the trading channel. Best served cold? I think it's like a decent filler. I don't remember how it exactly performs like against distributed targeting. It's been a while since I've used it, but it's definitely a good filler. But like something else you may do if you want the coupons, you might go into like the Stowe Builds Discord here, go to the trade offers area and say, want to buy P6 coupons for like what I might do right now is want to buy 425 mil per or something like that, or whatever the current rate is, or 400 mil per for best offer. Like something like that is what you might do if you were trying to get some T6 coupons. Yeah, let's take a look at chat here. I'll be pull that over. Yeah. Indeed. I went CSV on the Hydra. I don't think you would do beam overload on the Hydra. Like if you wanted to go single target, you would just go surgical strikes. Um, I picked up, so I ended up picking up 2 T6 coupons last night for, I did a key trade. So I think I did 68 keys for 2 coupons. So like right around 400 mil per. Yeah, cultural conquest is an extremely good trait if you have the room to put the abilities on to like get the stacks of it. Yeah, so the good thing is you can get the Stargazer for free from the event campaign this year. Yeah, so the key prices are going to continue probably dropping because of the Dilex being like available. Like people can go in and get their, they can buy Zen right now. This is for you, chat. This is for you guys right now. Opened over 200 and no ship. Yeah. I do have a bit of Lobby now, thankfully, but I am, even though there's a Lobby sale going on right now, I'm not gonna burn it. I want to save the Lobby that I do have for the next time they put a promo ship into the Lobby store, or the next time they do a 50% sale. Nice T5s, I know. Could you imagine if they let us convert the T5s over to T6 like boxes? Like say you have a stack of 20 T5s, they're like, "Oh yeah, you can convert those 20 over." That'd be nice. Who needs Vegas when the stakes are so high and still? Yeah. Okay. So let's do another TFO. This time we are going to do a crystalline catastrophe. This is a queue that we can get 10 people into. We have quite a few people here. So if you would like to join the public queue for Crystalline Catastrophe Advanced. I don't know, there's, like, to be honest with you, I think Cryptic just really needs someone internally just focused on like working on various parts of the economy. Like actually pushing out some like a systems person just dedicated to things that would help with the economy, like I mentioned on the past stream, I think was put the gold Decora into the GPL store for like a couple billion GPL. That'd be an EC sync. You know what I mean? Just someone that can like go in and make the changes. Or just one person can go and make these minor changes to the stores that would help the economy. Yeah. I think though the issue with that is we would then see a lot of people having a lot of fleet credits but no use for them, which is already an issue. Yeah, I don't understand why there's not some like really expensive Vanity shields, just like from some of the fleet holdings at this point. Like when they did that big fleet update last year, like that there was so much room for them to go in and be creative with some things like that, and they just didn't do it. You can feel the lag in Crystalline. The STO servers just really suck. Yeah. And again, I think that is just due to the botting issues, if they legitimately believe that. I think that they probably looked at their metrics and saw that there's a ton of accounts that do Admiralty a lot, and they assumed that Admiralty was like a really popular system with the player base. So they put those really expensive Admiralty cards in thinking that people would care about them. What they didn't realize or were ignorant to is the fact that most of those accounts that they saw spamming Admiralty all the time were not real people and, you know, just don't care about something that's going to be that expensive. Yeah. Yeah, compared to the emulating phaser lance, definitely I would say that we're really seeing that the Texas console is extremely situational. And again, it's probably going to be like some of the other stuff I've talked about recently where, like with the World Razor, where it's just really good and elite. I think this console, it moves too slow for lower difficulty. I mean, I'm on a single target build and almost killed these things out, you know, before. Yeah, there's still one of the torpedoes I launched there, still going. Just ridiculous.
Starting my
line from the station.
They're cutting through our perimeter. There's no stopping them.
Like, I could put CSV on this. Like, you know, I could easily put CSV on this and get a ton more damage out of it. But it really is not a good ship for what it cost. It's not bad. It's just, it doesn't feel like a lockbox ship. It really is just you're paying because of the skin. Yeah, reroute reserves is really good. Absolutely. 40% of the accounts doing Admiralty retriz? Yes. Like, I know I've already said this, but why would I spend 150 for this when there's a better ship in the sea store, like the Hydra, for $30 on account-wide unlock? 4-3 is still doable. Like, you can still do good DPS with a 4-3, but yeah, it's on a package like this, it really sucks. I mean, I'm glad that sea store ships are finally like being really good. It just, if they're putting a lockbox ship out, I just wish that the ship was notable. Like, this doesn't feel like that impactful to fly. I think the immolating phaser lance is still usable in basically any content Voyager. This thing, you can fire it off, but it moves really slow. Yeah. Brennan, I would agree. Let's let me see here. Of course it does, Chell. Of course. I'm gonna do a cure. Actually, no. Let me swap builds. You guys have seen me flying the Texas on this stream so far. Let me swap ships and put the console from this ship onto a better, or what I think is a better ship. I know I could go and just this to get over there faster. Stuka, the 13th pack does not adjust its price from what I understand, so if you buy the pack later, it would still be the exact same price. Yeah. Here they are on other ships. But that's basically what I did when I was testing it yesterday. Was I put it on the Hydra. I put the console and the experimental weapon on the Hydra, and I tried them out. So let me get those. I'm gonna just run the console for this one, and I'm gonna do a Pug Cure Advanced and just see how the performance is from the console. If you guys want to join, it's public queue, Kittimer, or not Kittimer, Cure Advanced. Cure found advanced. There we go. Yeah. This coffee cup is looking a bit rough now that the coffee's just been sitting there. Yeah, I got the shuttle bug. Oh, feel that lag. STO.
From this time forward, your culture will adapt to service hours.
For those of you that are new to Star Trek Online, this is what the endgame experience is like. The servers are extremely terrible for this game, and this is why this game doesn't keep players very long once they get into the DPS or PvP scenes, because they get frustrated and quit when they run into server performance issues like this. You may have a few mines, but I don't think anyone's got Feel the Weight on. That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. Did my stream drop out at all there? Like, yeah, so I got no warnings that, like, I've got issues on my side. I look at OBS. Guess what? In this entire stream, out of the almost 500,000 frames that have been rendered, it's only lost one frame. Yeah. Stow servers. Gotta love them. I mean, I'll take a look, see if there's anything on the parse from that, but that was so laggy that that's not really a good test at all. Yeah. Yeah, my weapons were not the top damage source because of how poor the server performance was. So that's a real buzzkill right there at that type of server performance. Things still good here. Okay. I am going to get my endeavors done. So I'm going to go over to the Undine Battle Zone now and get that done here. Yeah, Grim, I agree. If we got everyone in the stream together, we could probably, like, doing specific content, and you'd probably see the servers having issues. The reality is STO servers have been bad for a long time, and this past year have been just really, really not good. And their servers are based in like Boston. Yeah, Game Freaks is on the other side of the world. Yeah, so for me, I've said this before, but if I if I wasn't doing the YouTube stuff, I would not be playing this game right now. To be honest about it. Um the server performance issues, like basically my entire team for DPS stuff has quit because the server performance issues are unplayable. They want to play the game, but they can't because that type of lag that I just had right there is the type of experience that you have in like an ISE. Now imagine trying to go in and doing a DPS record or a time record and your server performance is like that. It just isn't fun. Is there Voyager? Yeah. I mean, we do it as privates, but it just, it's still it's frustrating. Yeah, every high-end DPS group always runs into the same issue for the most part is people quit because the server performance is absolutely terrible. 15 minutes, there's going to be a KDF sim. Terrible. Thank you, Grim. When do I think they'll put the 10th bundle on sale again? Um, that's a good question. I think we're probably gonna see one in May, like April, May. So if I go 10th, when it comes to sales and STO, always take a look at the prior years. So look back to last year to see when they did sales last year, and it usually will match up somewhat close to what they did this year. Did they do one at the beginning of this month? I don't remember. I don't think they've done one this month yet, have they? But last year they did some in February, March, May, July, September, and then December. So like every 2-3 months there's going to be a sale for the 10th. I tried going over to the proxy and it just didn't. It's the actual instance lagging is the issue. Yeah, there's not really many Starbase 1 instances open anymore. So this battle zone, I wish the enemies spawned more. Trying to get kills in here, I usually just re-roll the Undine ones, because I don't feel like doing the Undine TFOs. We'll have to see, Voyager. I probably won't be streaming too much longer. I know I'm not in the Texas right now, and all that, but I think you guys have gotten the point about the Texas. And it sounds like I'm gonna have to probably be bailing out here in a few minutes. So I want to get my endeavors done, and yeah, I mean, definitely like if you're but the thing is with like the DPS chase, the reason it's people give up is because the situation doesn't improve. Like the server performance has only degraded in the past year. There hasn't been an improvement. Like the entire like the Torp DPS chase, things have only gotten worse as times went on. I would never do that, Cheops. But there is pizza out there, and it is looks good. So yeah. This is this battle zone is so boring. Like 3 enemies once a minute. Yeah, unfortunately, like everything here is done. Already someone there. Would they blame power creep? I mean, that is always an excuse they view, or like an excuse that they could use. There have actively been issues in the past where people had too many buffs on, and that did cause issues, like way back. But they resolved that, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we have an issue like that around again. Yeah, these ones here where you have to get the lasers to go together, those usually can be faster. This tonight, thank you for that. Usually I just do the Nukara ground battle zone. I stand in the acid pool. What is on the pizza? That is a good question. Let's see here. Actually, that might be a dessert. Peach pie pizza? And then Salisbury steak. Yeah, okay, so that's a dessert pizza. Okay. Even better. Pineapple? Oh. When I order a pizza from Domino's, I usually will go for pepperoni and pineapple as the topping, and then for the sauce, I'll go with barbecue. I knew that I was going to get a reaction. That one would not very much not a reaction. I'm a madman. Yes. I'm sorry, Cheops, for ruining your immersion there. 97 miles from me. I think I'm probably gonna go eat here in the next couple of minutes. So sorry, Ryder. I'm a fat American. There probably ain't gonna be any left. 97 miles. Yeah, definitely. Hour and a half. There ain't gonna be anything left by then. Axel, I'm sorry. Okay. This is the wrong character. Yeah, that I love those memes about that. Yeah. Nice ship. Yeah, I know. Look at this meta build. Yeah, aren't they on like AWS now? Chell? I think like if I recall when I went through and did a like a tracer to the proxy servers, it went to AWS. I don't know. Is there any other questions about the Texas class that you guys have? Like the console can keep universal designs up the entire time and it will do more damage than crystal prisms. The damage from the console is entirely dependent on your distance to the target. If you're too close, the damage it does will be halved. And if you have any torp speed boost on, that can impact how far away you need to be. Why does it exist? I just already have this character there, Distant Night. That's why I just went for this. The thing is, Osiris, it's at least 3 kilometers, but it changes if you have any of the plus distance items on. Would the Texas be a good choice for event campaign reward for next year? I don't think so, Waldo. I don't like I legitimately feel like if this was a C-store ship, I wouldn't pay $30 to get the ship itself. I would only be willing to pay that much to get the console. Like if that makes any sense. Like the ship isn't that good. The trade-off of it, if you can afford lockbox ships, that trait should not be something you're even considering. Just really disappointing. Would the Texas make a good paperweight? Unfortunately, you can't 3D print it yet. I don't know if that's permanent or if that's going to stay that way or not. I don't know. Yeah, there's just so many better options. Like it really is just you want to have UD up 100% of the time with a console that does more damage than Crystal Prisms, that has better passives than Crystal Prisms. That really is what this boils down to. And ask yourself if you're willing to spend 1.3 billion EC to get that experience. The console may be good on a torque build. Like that is one thing on here that I haven't been able to try. And with that server performance lag that we saw in that Cure, I'm really not interested in putting a torque build back together because my loadouts are scrambled for that, of course. So let me just go back to the Texas here. We'll do one more patrol with it real quick. What was it? USS Amazon. The experimental weapon. It's comparable. Like it's the same issue the console has of if your positioning's not right. Yes, yeah, it seems to be, Steven, because it's happened again. It literally went back to my... I go back to do Romulus command. It seems both loadouts are messed with again. Let's go back to the Hydra and let's see how well the console does in our Gala with the CSV build. That is twice in this stream that I swapped over to the Texas and its loadout was like screwed. It's lovely. Yeah. Argala Elite. Even the loadouts are disappointing indeed. Steven, I need to try it in a torp run, but hard to get those together anymore. I don't know if I would replace it.
You have entered an area. Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their fog might come out of hiding. Keep concentrating fire on individual ships.
In Elite, they move too slow. My cannons killed the targets before they arrived.
You will stand down. Surrender to the Venture guard. Sensors are picking up small habitations in some of the atmosphere. Possibly consistent with multiple temporary hideouts. We do what we want, where we want. Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency. We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for assistance. I'm taking you with me.
I legitimately don't know if this thing has been able to hit anything this entire match. Okay, now that one should land. It did land.
Excellent work.
And that was better, like a minute 50 Argala, but still a bit slow. Gotta go faster. No, you're fine, Steven. Yeah, the Excelsior console's a lot of fun. Okay, let's see damage from it this time. It did 4.5k there. Like, if the things stay alive long enough, they can do a lot of damage. So, if you don't have much DPS with the rest of your build, they'll have time to go in and hit the target. But as soon as you are killing things quickly with a DPS build, the console really starts to fall off. Yeah, the Stowe Better calculators are really good. Trinity's are a really good calculator. It takes a bit of time to go through and set up, but really good. Okay, so there you guys have the Texas. I did a Nargala and all that at the start of the stream with that if you want to compare. But that
We have the suspect.
I just it's really hard to justify as a lockbox ship. It's $100. The Hydra's a better ship and it's $30. And you get it on account-wide unlock. Yeah, Stu, your drain build, if you actually have a drain build, that's probably a lower DPS build, so the targets would probably be alive long enough for the torpedoes from it to hit your target. You could use the drain to shut their shields offline or drain their shields, and then you can get the console to do damage. That's pretty much what it's like right now. In an ISE, the console might do well because the big targets would still live long enough, typically, but really just disappointing overall. Okay, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all for tuning in. There will be a review of this ship probably at some point in the future. Again, I look at the price of it on the exchange and I just don't know if I could justify that for 1.3, to be honest. It just really was disappointing. That's going to be it for now. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the continued support. You all take care and have a good day.